maybe I'm just an animal and I'm the hardest worker in the world. Probably not. I just think that most advanced lifters need to do more than this. What is going on, guys? Hope you're having a great day and welcome to the channel. Now, in light of the fact that Jeff Nippard has released his second power building program recently, I thought it'd be a good idea to look back at his original program and give you guys a full breakdown and analysis of that program, what I think about it, things I like and dislike, and what that can mean for you. So I've got the program up here for reference by my side, and we're just going to dive right into the things I do like about the program. The first thing I like with the program is the split alternation week to week here, and the way it's broken down is the first week, the odd weeks, it's kind of a full body split. For example, he starts off day one with squats, overhead press, glute ham raise, Helms row, which is like your upper back, hammer curl the second day, deadlifts, bench press, hip abduction, weighted pull-ups, standing calf raise, and so on. So they're kind of full body workouts, not literally every single body part in each one, but you train your upper body and your lower body in every single workout. And there's 5 of those in the first week if you're doing the 6-day-a-week split, which is the one I bought. And then the next week, you're alternating between lower body, upper body, and so on. And I think that's really fun. The kind of changing up the splits like that keeps things fresh, which is actually underrated. It's very important in a program to have a fun split, because if you don't like the program and you don't believe in it, you're not going to be fully invested in it and you're not going to get the best results. Next thing I like with the program is just the wealth of information that he includes at the beginning and end of the program. He gives you like a full breakdown of like the different muscles and how they work, how they function. He's got these little notes in each workout for every single exercise and what he wants you to focus on. At the end of the program, the bottom, he gives you like the volume breakdown and stuff. He gives you an exercise video guide, which shows you how to do the exercises, or at least how he wants you to do all the exercises, so you're not left in the dark there. And then he even has an exercise substitution guide, so let's say you have an injury that prevents you from doing an exercise, or it's just uncomfortable, or you just hate it, it gives you good substitution options for what you can do instead. For example, if a hack squat doesn't really work well in your quads, it feels like crap in your knees, whereas the leg press gives you a crazy quad pump. Don't do hack squat, do leg press. He gives you a little guide on how to do that. I think that's really cool. I also like his exercise selection. He's got a good choice of exercises. He also has, like, for example, for the powerlifting movements, he gives you like little modifications to the lift. So for example, for deadlifts, he also has pause deadlifts. He has block pulls and so on to help you work on weak points. For example, pause deadlift is great for your positioning at the toughest part of the lift. He does similar things with squat and bench, which I think is really important, very good. And also, there's no stupid exercises in here. Everything makes sense to do, and there's nothing really just completely missing from his exercise selection, so I do like all that. And overall, the program itself is good, and it's certainly a great template more than anything. I do recommend buying the program, if nothing more than to just gain some knowledge from it, because knowledge is power. It helps you in the future. However, when it comes to things I dislike about the program, the biggest one is I think it's improperly marketed. It's marketed for intermediate to advanced lifters, and I think that's just false. It's really better for beginner to intermediate lifters. And the reason for that is because there's a relationship between the volume of the program, typically defined as hard sets, and the intensity or effort level of a program, usually defined with RPE, but it's basically how hard the set was. When it comes to programming, the more volume you add, necessarily the less intensity or effort you need to have in order to actually do the program without burning out. Vice versa is true. If you do less volume, you raise the intensity up to make it equally as difficult. That's kind of the gist of it. Is at the end of the day, the workouts need to be difficult. Whether that's because you're doing a lot of volume, maybe not every single set is super hard, but by the end of the work, you're like, man, that's pretty tough. Or maybe you're not doing a crazy amount of sets, but each set's really hard. So again, by the end of the workout, you're like, that's pretty tough. I am speaking from my own experience with this, but I did not find this program hard. I found it very easy because there's not a ton of volume and there's never really a ton of intensity. And there's nothing wrong with training at like RP 6 to 8. A lot of powerlifters program that way. And if you're wondering what RPE is, it's basically the reverse of reps in reserve. So if we have RP8, that means you had 2 reps left in the tank that you could have done if you really chose to, but you stopped. There's nothing wrong with training in that RP6 to 8 zone, but when powerlifting programs have that, they typically have way more volume of the competition lifts. For example, in this program, you typically will do either 7 or 8 sets of the competition lifts per week. Programs that have you training at that intensity, they're doing double that, sometimes even more than that. Why? Because that relationship between volume and intensity. They're choosing to prioritize volume versus intensity. In this program, it's just kind of moderate to low volume, moderate to low intensity. Again, that's why I think it's more suited to beginners to intermediate lifters, because they don't need as much volume or as much intensity as an advanced lifter does, because that's just how it works. You can start off a little bit easier as a beginner and work your way up as an advanced lifter. Now, that doesn't mean that RPEs and volume is dogma in that there's a certain number for beginners, certain number for advanced lifters. It's all relative. It just means that over time, it's gonna go up, one and or the other. For Jeff, this program is probably hard. I know people, if you watch Greg Doucette, you might laugh and like when he makes fun of him and says like that he doesn't train very hard, but the reality is it's just, it's not hard for Greg to train at like RP 6 to 8. It's not hard for me to train that way unless there's a lot of volume. But for Jeff, it is. He can't recover from doing more intensity or more volume. That doesn't mean that like this program is bad for him. It's great for him. That's why he made the program. But I don't think for true advanced lifters that this is going to be enough for most of you. Some of you might be thinking, well, I ran the program, I'm intermediate, and I had great results. And then ask LA to train, you say, oh, I've been training for 3 years. You're not that advanced. You're not even intermediate. You're still a freaking beginner if you're training. Like, that's not really advanced. I think people miscomprehend like what it really means to advance. Talk to me, I've been training for like 8+ years, okay? And then if it works for you, great. It's all about the knowledge you gain from the program. I'm not saying the program is bad. What I'm saying is that it's not that hard for someone who can handle a lot of intensity or volume. And if you're wondering why I say like it wasn't hard for me, for example, when I put in my 1 rep maxes on stuff here, or my estimated 1 rep maxes in my case, for example, one of these workouts, he's got me training anywhere between 335 and 355 pounds for 5 reps on the squat. The RP is supposed to be 7.5. That's not gonna pan out for me. It will be like RP 5, 6. Like, it's not that hard. I'm able to get a lot of reps. I can add 20 pounds and still hit the number of reps here and still have a rep or 2 left in reserve. That's how I am. The program doesn't tell me whether I should just go higher than the loading range to hit that RPE. It's kind of implied to stay within that loading range, which means the RPE is going to be really low. It's just going to be easy for me. And that's on one of the harder sets. He has these red bars that kind of like the harder ones, the top sets. On a different day, for example, it's got 355 for a set of 4. I'm not getting much out of it. That's not hard enough for me. And that's the point, just be hard enough. Or I need to be doing way more volume if I'm going to train that way. And if you don't believe me that it's not hard enough, I ran this program twice. The first time I ran it, I had like lost a bunch of muscle from like cross country and I was way weaker. I literally, with the help of muscle memory, at my aid, didn't make any progress. Because it wasn't hard enough for me. That was even with me like putting the higher, like my original 1 rep maxes. It still wasn't hard enough for me. And I ran the program a second time and I just ran the program except I just did more weight on everything to make it harder, and boom, I had good results. Again, that is just me. Some people will respond better to like more volume, lower intensity. Some of you, higher intensity, lower volume. Some people, high intensity, high volume. Some people, low intensity, low volume. It just kind of depends on the individual and your training experience. Like I said, I'm not saying this program's bad. It's great for Jeff because Jeff is kind of a moderate to low volume kind of guy and moderate to low intensity kind of guy. That's what works for him. But I don't think that most advanced lifters are going to be able to get away with this volume and this intensity. You're probably going to need to either just add a few more sets or add a little bit more weight on the bar or a few more reps during the set. And then magically, it's going to work out better for you. The moral of the story is you need to feel challenged. It doesn't matter if you were challenged because you did a lot of sets and then you're like, oh, that was a tough workout. Or if it's because every single set was just really hard, you're like, oh, that was a tough workout. You need to have that feeling that it was a tough workout. I never had that feeling when I ran this program. And if I'm going to be honest with you, when I was 13 and I started lifting weights, I trained harder than this program has. But training is heavy because I wasn't as strong, but the intensity, I was doing more. The volume, I was doing more. Freaking 13-year-old just started. Maybe I'm just an animal and I'm the hardest worker in the world. Probably not. I just think that most advanced lifters need to do more than this. Again, this is not me fanboying over Jeff, nor is this video me hating on Jeff. It's just an honest review of the program. I highly recommend buying it. Use it for knowledge. Try it out. If it doesn't feel hard, don't keep doing it exactly as written. Just make it harder. If it is hard, that's awesome. Do the program. I think other than that, the program is great. There's not a lot to hate on. I just think it just needs to be harder. That's the main critique, and I think it's improperly marketed because I think it's going to be hard enough for beginners, early intermediates, but it's probably not going to be hard enough for people that are late intermediates or truly advanced athletes. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you want me to review his second power building program to see if there's any differences, let me know in the comment section below. Stay tuned for future reviews of other programs as well. But with all that being said here, I'm going to wrap up the video. So if you enjoyed this video or you learned something, don't forget to give it a like, leave a comment down below, subscribe and turn on notifications for the channel if you are new, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!